Hey guys, hey beloved Ascension pioneers, welcome back to my videos. I'm back in nature and back from the mountains to my space in the woods and in the meadow clearing space. So what is happening for me right now in my life is there's a lot of chaos energy, a lot of energy moving forward, upward, downward. It's just a lot of shifting, and that's why today I would like to talk about how to maintain a state of peace amidst all the chaos, because it's not just me, it's happening collectively, it's happening to so many, because the universal energies and the alignments are all about many challenging squares and alignments which are pushing things, especially inside of us, and things that want to be set free, and things we need to break free from. And my last video was from the mountains, talking about the primal fears, which is again part of this, a part of the personal freedom, because personal freedom that is now being triggered not just by the full moon in Aquarius. And I've just been reading yesterday that this is kind of like a culmination period of the new moon that started also in Aquarius in February. And this is when we started selling an apartment, and it's really interesting how this is coming to culmination now. But I noticed that it's not just that, it's a lot of other alignments that want us to be free, that want us to live from our higher mind, that want us to connect to our deep primal senses, not like fears that I was talking about in my previous video, but deep primal ways of being. What I'm noticing for myself is the personal freedom is not just what you like to do, what you like to create, what you wish to experience, but being free from those fears that I've been addressing. So personal freedom is directly linked with self-empowerment, of course. And I've noticed this a lot, that in my sessions with divine companions, it's coming up a lot, the heart desires from different people, their heart desires how to connect with themselves and to just be free, to be who they already are. And this keeps coming up for people, and it's very interesting because it's not just about feeling what you want to do, it's about constantly being drawn to that space of joy and constantly creating from that space. Because what I'm noticing is, if in the old I still used to tolerate certain modes of being, structures and the patterns that I created for myself through this limited body vehicle, in the new and now I just cannot longer tolerate them. It's not that I'm becoming more intolerant, it's just that my vibration have shifted so much that I can't stand the situations when you are, for example, still reacting the old way, or when the surroundings is showing you this is the old way. How can you shift your perspective? Because the personal freedom is not just about when you find things that bring you joy and you cultivate them and you cultivate that joy. It's also about finding new perspectives. It's finding new approaches. So it's not just moving from doing one thing and no longer brings you joy to moving to another thing. Again, if it's not done through awareness, this is just from one distraction to another distraction. It really needs to come from that deep sense of inner joy. So that means that state when you're fully in your higher mode, like you're elevated, although in the physical that might not seem as such, but you feel that way. So it's not just about that, right? You find something, like works for you, and say, I'm going to create something else. So you start doing something else. Again, it's not about doing, it's about being. So a certain way of beingness that is being addressed now, that is shifting, and that beingness being connected so deeply with the peace component of our soul nature, that it's very natural, so very primal to us. When you're residing in your peace, so when you're in your soul essence, it's all so simple. It's like you're in flow, like you're flying, like you are feeling very natural, like a natural being that you are. And when you're not in flow, you create a lot of resistance, and resistance does create a lot of persistence, of course. And that way you might feel a sense of confusion, distraction, fragmentation, like you're scattered in many different places, which I've been also addressing. It's happening sometimes to me when I'm noticing that when I need to shift. And these things that are showing that to us through situations are actually blessings, because they're showing us where we can apply the new energy to the old situations and therefore make them new again, right? It's very simple. So this is what alchemy is based upon. Well, in my videos I always talk about so many things in just one scope, so it's kind of hard because I'm, moving through so many different subjects all at once. But it's very important to understand here the nature, the difference between what we're creating through our soul alchemy and what we're creating through manifestation, which a lot of times on the lower levels, it was coming from, for example, manifestation through, like pagans have Wicca, and witchcraft and creating spells and or for example manifestation techniques or shamanism and all of that, like you were using sages and, you know, different tools, where on a higher level it's actually creating through the essence. So you create through soul alchemy, you create through consciousness. So you're observing something long enough that the awareness in you shifts, and therefore the reality becomes different, so the experience becomes different, so then at the end it affects the matter, it affects the physicality. So when we're working now on this new level, we're actually seeing that the only difference we're really making is when we're working through soul alchemy on this higher level. Of course, for those who are still resisting and persisting on that level before, which I mentioned, it's still their experience. But what I'm saying for us is we're doing things now through soul alchemy. So when something doesn't apply anymore, people usually, you know, in the old they say, well, create the intention, create this manifestation technique, do something. We went from doing things one way to doing things another way. Well, in the new, we're shifting only by observing things long enough, being observant and neutral long enough, so that the awareness shifts. And this happens naturally without control. You know, sometimes I go out in nature and I believe and I think and I feel that I'm going to get something, like a pneumatic writing or some higher guidance coming through my soul. And sometimes it doesn't. I just sit with myself, which is what I need to do a lot, because sometimes I'm distracting myself a lot because I'm just one person and there's so many people around me, and something in my life will always be affected due to that. So I need to continuously keep balancing myself. So sometimes I just come and I sit, and that's all that I do. And that's all that I need at that time. That's all I'm capable of doing. Sometimes I feel exhausted from everything or burn out, and I know it's my cue to, balance myself. So when I do that, sometimes I just sit, and then when I sit long enough, answers come, because awareness has shifted. Not because I've done anything or because I've been a constant questionnaire in my head. No. It's just that flow. You make the peace with yourself. You come into the state of peace. You shift from the external to the internal, and you become this neutral consciousness observing itself. You know, it doesn't have to be sitting under the tree like Buddha. Just sitting with your presence, just consciously sitting with yourself, just unwinding from everything, and then observing how awareness is shifting in that moment, because it is shifting. In this new period, the most awareness is shifting actually through just being, which I'm noticing for myself. If I create a lot of doing, it won't be really going through the flow. The more that I create this space of just being, much more guidance comes through. Very simple guidance. People sometimes still want complicated answer. I'll give you one example. Before 2012, and of course my awareness has shifted, so the people who observe me and people who ask me questions have shifted. So there was a lot of people who were asking, what's going to happen in 2012? What's going to happen this? How do you go through that? Or, different scenarios, very much from the external. Now it's shifting more from the internal. So understanding ourselves as a soul, walking and embodying that. So I've noticed this shift, and how it changed for me in my life, and how it's much more awesome to do things on this level, directly working with the heart guidance, and not through the mind, not getting answers this way or asking questions, like I said, constantly. It's just bringing yourself to a state of being, because now the divine feminine is operating more, it's been integrating more, and the 13, which is the number of this year, is actually the number of the goddess. So the nature of all creation, and it's teaching us again to be humble, to be observant, silent, seeing the symbol of foxes in the actual physical form in the mountains. But actually when I came home and I was reading about them, and different people were sharing their own knowings about them, they also, it was very good medicine. Now I have a fly medicine here. And they actually, also I got an oracle deck that same day when I came home, and there was a picture of the fox there as well, and it was about being silent and just observing, not really acting, not really being there on a pedestal or somewhere, on a very exposed, in a very exposed way, but just being and just observing. So this is what is happening now by doing this. A lot of people they always think they should be doing so much, and especially when I'm working with people in sessions, they all feel they need to do something, to create this flow and the shift in the consciousness. And I say, no, you need to be who you are, and you already know who you are. Just, you need to open yourself up to it. You need to start living it. You need to allow yourself to be that, who you are. And I can only show you through my own example. So what I'm noticing is a lot of people still think they need to do something. And it's very hard for us because I see how the human psyche is shifting, how hard it is for us. I'm noticing this in my own body template, because what my soul awareness knows and how my body reacts is not always the same. Like I said, it's the body that's shifting. It's the lower states, we have these lower states of bodies that are, all in our denser experiences. We have our physical, we have the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual bodies. So the thing is, I'm noticing these reactions, and sometimes it's very hard for humans to really think that we're really doing so much more when we're just being our true selves, and just being, maybe just sitting under the tree. And it's very hard for us. We always think we need to do something, and we need to be proactive, and it's fine, it is a part of it. It's not the only part of the experience, because the masculine energy has been driving the world, this reality, the collective, for so long. So it's up for us to shift our inner reality and create this peace and this beingness, the state of the feminine, the divine feminine, and bring this infusion along with the masculine, create this inner state, which is the inner child. So the divine child that is birthed from all of this together. The divine child always goes like, yippee, is this joyful, radiant state which we cannot achieve before we have our integrated self together with our masculine, feminine components. And actually, it's very simple. It's just that we tend to complicate it a lot. Like I said, I'm noticing how hard it is for us to believe that it can be simple sometimes. To believe that we can have it easy. To believe that, yes, you're free, I'm talking a lot about this personal empowerment and freedom of being. And sometimes people don't know that they can choose whatever they want. It's like, yeah, well, will I wait for this to change so I can do it? I need to do this first so I can be free. No, you are. You can choose whatever you want, and then you will be supported. It's not the other way around. It's just the belief that creates you in this self-limited cage, actually like a prison cell. And when I'm noticing these things, I'm noticing sometimes how hard it is for us to feel peace amidst the chaos. The chaos is the external reality, and believe me, it won't get any better, because this whole planet has, you see it also in the physical shifting of the planet, such as earthquakes, volcano eruptions, everything that's being also propelled by the cosmic weather, by the solar flares and things as such. So there's a lot of shifts, and externally that shows us a lot of chaos, which is the shifting. So guys, my camera fell on the floor, and I need to record this again, and my camera is running really low on battery, so it'll be short. I just wanted to give one more example from my personal life, and it has to do when me coming back home from the mountains. And I already had a challenging experience there, and it was very initiation-wise, and it's part of my purpose, to shift energy that way. At that point, I also came home, and there was things there waiting, constant errands and things to do, and things with my car, and it was, don't ask me, it was very... And today I just had enough of everything. I said, I don't care. I need to create space for myself. I need to give myself the sacred space to just be. I'm the one who's the alchemist who has to find the way to transform this apparent chaos and find my inner stillness, because that's how I'm actually affecting the whole to be more at peace, not by contributing to the chaos. So when situations and surroundings seem as such, of a certain kind, don't fall for it. A lot of time, the fox, the symbolism of the late, is showing us that it's also about the trickster energy. There's a lot of things that seem a certain way and they're not. So that's what we're being called to be, so observing and discerning and vigilant, and to remain in always that state of maintaining that inner peace. So how do we create it? Simple. You create time and space for yourself, and again, realizing that the reality that you're experiencing is not the reality of the external. A lot of times things will come, and I am moving physically in my personal life, and you are dealing with third-dimensional stuff and people and everything. So you can't escape the world, but you can, in a way, contribute to transforming it a certain way, You can transform things by giving a little bit of your own light into it. So this is what we have to do actually in this period, and I'll be talking more about this, but in my next update I'll be actually addressing the Star of David, the star tetrahedron forming in our skies, the diamond alignment, which I'm very excited to do some automatic writing about, because I didn't have a chance to do it, with all the traveling to the mountains and all the errands when I get home. So basically I had very little time for myself, really myself. And I need to create it. It is me. I'm the one who creates this peace. I'm the one who's experiencing and creating this reality constantly, and by that affecting the whole. So how to create it? Like I said, find time for yourself with the feeling that there's no time. So today I had the simple saying in my head which said, I don't have to fight for my freedom. I create my freedom because I'm already free. So you have a situation that you feel you're a victim of. You're not. Know that you don't have to defend yourself. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to fight to be free, to feel peace. You are at peace. At all times, if it doesn't feel so, let everything go. Just walk away from everything for just a while. Take a few deep breaths and then let the guidance come, because it won't come when you're in stress. It won't come when you're associating yourself with the external. It will come, and you will know what to do when you'll find and create that space for yourself at all times. Not just for 1 minute and then fall back into the old again. So this is what we're doing. This is alchemy. It's not witchcraft. Again, guys, it's soul alchemy through soul awareness. And stay updated for my video on the star alignment. I am really hoping to do some writing about it. I'll talk to you soon, guys. So much love. Take care. So much peace. Bye.